Reloading. Downed another one.
We have champions.
Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy Kbreezy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be telling you guys some of the best things that you can do to change your playstyle and increase the amount of kills that you're getting per game. Now, real quick disclaimer here is, I'm no gaming guru at Apex, or a pseudo pro player, or even your casual sweat, but I do have some really good tips to share with you guys that really made my skill level rise when I started playing this game. And for this first game that you're about to watch, I dropped a 10 kill game and managed to clap the last squad and secure the dub. If you stay until the end of today's video and take the tips that I'm going to be telling you to heart, then I can guarantee that you're going to see a major improvement on your kill counter, and then you can brag to all of your friends about how you have a double-digit game and they don't. So to start things off, the first thing that I would really recommend if you want to start having high kill games is staying in the dropship for the shortest time possible and land at a hot zone or high density spot. I know this is like the most basic tip I could give to start off, and I can already hear somebody in the comment sections like, "Oh, this is such a horrible noob guy, delete the video, you console player, wow." But just trust me guys, it's going to get better as we move along and get into the juicier tips. Getting back to what I was saying earlier though, land as fast as you can, and what you want to do is get a weapon in your hands as fast as possible. I don't even care if it's just a Mozambique, just grab it so that you have something on you. If you run up on somebody and you don't have a gun, then I promise you that you're going to regret not grabbing that Mozambique. Unless the person aiming at you has horrible aim and you manage to punch them to death and teabag them. But landing early, getting a weapon, and then finding somebody as soon as possible to engage is really going to help you get some high kill games. Most people aren't prepared early game as soon as you land. If you can catch somebody off guard while they're looting, you more or less already won the fight. Unless they have like gold armor and a Spitfire and you're trying to tag them with the P2020. One of my favorite places to land for high kill games is Skull Town, and land at either the supply bins beside the respawn beacon or those houses that are near the very back. Most of the time you can find something pretty decent along with some great body armor to get yourself set up for the early game, and the placement allows you to choose what part of Skull Town you want to invade and take over next. If you play your cards right and come in as the cleanup crew, then you should be walking out of Skull Town with an easy 4 to 5 kills on your hands. A few other great places that I would definitely recommend going are Artillery, Bunker, Arsenal, and of course the dropship itself. It seems like no matter what, these places are going to have at least 1 or 2 other squads going along with you at these spots, meaning that you can expect some action from the get-go. Moving on though, for this next tip, try cutting down on the time that you spend looting from early to mid-game, and instead focus on looting from the bodies that you kill instead. Look at it like this. Every enemy that you see is basically a walking treasure chest, and all you have to do to get those doubloons is to hit them with a few bulletty boys. Stop spending 10 to 20 minutes after that initial drop in the town right beside where you landed, and instead be mobile and constantly moving to new areas so that you can find new enemies. Apex Legends plays a lot different from other Battle Royale games like Fortnite and Blackout, being that the mid-game is generally very drawn out, and the first couple of circles really don't do that much damage. I mean, everybody knows this, and because of that, people aren't really as pressured to move into the next circle as they are in other games. That's why it's so important whenever you hear gunshots in this game, that you rush over there and try to be the third party as often as possible. I mentioned this earlier in one of my other videos, and that's because it's so valuable and such an easy way for you to rack up kills. Most of the time, both of the squads are going to be weak after fighting. You can just come in and sweep the competition away. Something else that you should be on the lookout for are lifeline care packages, because those are a clear indicator that an enemy squad is nearby. Always check out the supply drops as they're coming in, because you never know if you can pick off some enemies while they're looting for some easy kills. Next up, try working on engaging and disengaging enemies as you come across them in the squad. Almost every time you're going to be able to catch an enemy off guard as they're trying to get off a res and makes for some easy kills. The best way to disengage after you knock an enemy is to relocate and find some better positioning, but make it seem as though you backed off in the process and you kind of just walked away. During these couple of moments that the enemy can't see you, it's really going to be tempting for them to pick up their teammate because of how quick the revive system is in this game. You should really keep an eye out for this if you spot a lifeline on the enemy team, because that's literally her job as a medic to revive people, and she's going to feel compelled to do so since she has that revive shield and all. But by being able to pick off at least one person, you're going to be able to put the odds more so in your favor, making it a lot harder for the enemy team to be organized. So for this next tip, and I know this is going to sound kind of bad, but hear me out when I say this, you kind of want to play with people that aren't as good as you, or at least not at the same skill level that you currently have. And what I mean by this is, you shouldn't go and try to find the most noobiest of noobs, just level 1 players that just downloaded the game, and expect to instantly drop a 30 bomb because you're playing with absolute noobs. What I'm saying is the kills tend to get split up a lot more evenly whenever someone is there that's around your same skill level and is doing their fair share of damage. By having people that are not quite as good as you playing with you, it allows you to kind of like pick up the slack and finish what they started off, if you know what I mean. Also, there's a fine line between helping finish off an enemy and just straight up stealing some kills. If you see that your buddy has put major damage into someone and has them at like basically 0 health, then by putting those last 1 or 2 bullets into them, you're really going to end up stealing that kill. He's probably going to get a little bit ticked off. But I mean, it's almost impossible to drop a double-digit game without having some kills being up for debate of whether or not they were stolen. I guess this is why damage done is so important, because it lets everyone see whether or not you're just running by and finishing off enemies, or if you're really the one that's doing the bulk of the damage. But I mean, the main objective in this game is to win, so you shouldn't really be mad if enemies steal your kill. At least your squad is still alive, and then the squad is dead. Now, weapons are really something that is up to your own preference, and I can't tell you what you should be using because everybody plays differently. And it's because of this fact that you should be picking up weapons that suit your playstyle. Don't just pick up a wingman and a peacekeeper and wield both of those and expect to start going commando because you saw some pro doing it in his live stream on Twitch. I mean, you could very well do it. One of the main places that I see players go wrong is using something that they have no business holding simply because they think it will make them a good player. Don't pick up a wingman if you know you have bad aim with pistols. I mean, it's not going to hurt you to try it out, but don't purposely pick it up thinking, oh man, this is what Shroud uses, this is what this uses, this is what all those people are using, I need to use this gun. If you don't like the wingman, or if you're not having good aim with the wingman, just don't use the wingman. I mean, my personal favorite is the Spitfire and R99 combo. Yours could be a P2020 and a Mozambique for all I know. I mean, just use whatever you feel like you can be the most efficient with. Having a balance of weapons is also very important, and I would suggest having a quick finisher weapon always on your side. Switching to your secondary weapon is almost always faster than reloading, and it's going to help you keep engaging the enemy. I know I'm not the only one that's been in a fight where both players are kind of just staring at each other for a couple of seconds because they're both reloading at the same time. Make sure that you make this a habit and find a good choice that fits your playstyle and complements what you're using to ensure that you're always ready for any kind of situation that you come across. You don't want to have 2 long-range weapons and can't fight close range. You don't want to have 2 SMGs and you can't shoot at somebody that's across a bridge. You overall just want to have a good balance of speed, efficiency, range, and damage. And really all I have to say for this last tip is to practice, and practice some more. Because the only way to get better in anything is to practice. And make sure that you use these tips and things that I mentioned earlier and start incorporating them into your gameplay, because that's really going to help you out. Over time, by playing this game, if you make it a conscious effort to play better and improve upon your mistakes, then I guarantee that you'll start to become better with time. Rome wasn't built in a day, neither was Shroud's legacy as one of the best Battle Royale esports players of all time. Don't worry if you can only get 3 to 4 kills in a game at the moment, because that only means that you have plenty of room for improvement. Before you know it, the kills are going to start stacking up higher and higher, and the game will get easier the more you play it. If you notice that you're always dying at certain locations, or that in certain situations your team just never is able to get out, like you have never been able to get out of a pinch situation, go back and record that gameplay and review it and kind of see where things went wrong and what you could have done better, and kind of review, kind of like if you ever play sports, you know they always have a film day, kind of just go back and review and see what went wrong and try to improve upon it. And make notes, make tips for yourself. I mean, that's really just some of the best things that you can do if you want to improve as a player. And real quick guys, I just want to let you know that I recently made another video with some more tips on how to outplay your opponents and definitely improve your kills. I'm going to be putting a link in the description. You should definitely go watch that if you want some more tips on how to drop some high kill games. And in that video, I go into depth on some things that I didn't really talk about in today's guide, like strafing and things of that matter. But that's all I have to talk about in today's video regarding how to drop some high kill games in Apex. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe, and please leave a like to show your support, because that really helps me out and lets me know what you guys like to watch. Don't forget to comment down below, let me know what you want to see next, because I always enjoy reading all of the comments, and it really does help me come up with some really great video ideas. But as always, it's your boy KB, signing off. Peace.
The ring's moving, friends. Must go faster.
Let's go this way.
Who's ready to fly on a zip line? I am here.
Round 5, beginning ring countdown.
Check it out. Open supply bin here. Hey, compadres! We just got the kill!
You are the Apex champions.